It's really hurtful when you've been messaging someone, you felt like maybe you had a connection, and suddenly you realize they've blocked you. Suddenly they're no longer following you on Instagram, or perhaps you've sent them a message on WhatsApp and you're getting the dreaded one grey tick. Like, what is going on here? What are the reasons someone could have had to have had such a sudden change in their behavior? I'm dating coach Hayley Quinn, and I'm here to give you my 5 top reasons why someone may suddenly block you out of the blue. And my goal really is to help you to move on from the situation, to recognize not everybody out there is just going to suddenly turn around and block you, and to give you the confidence you need to carry on and keep dating. So the first reason someone may have blocked you, and I'm going to start with an obvious culprit here, is that you said something that offended them. Now, if you're wondering if this applies to you, this should be quite obvious from looking at the messaging chain. Now, messages can be really difficult, right? Because we're not there in person to show our tone of voice or our facial expression. So they're really easy to misinterpret the meaning of. So is it possible that someone was reading your messages and they found something you said offensive? Perhaps it was too judgmental, perhaps it was too sexual or too flirtatious. Is it possible that you misjudged the tone of the interaction, took it a step too far, and the other person just reacted against that information? It's worthwhile remembering, for flirting or teasing someone to be effective, we really need consent and participation. So if someone isn't reciprocating, don't try and force the joke or the flirty piece of humor. Let it go. And remember for yourself as well, if you sent something and to you it was funny and to them it was really offensive, this, as well as being a feedback loop to you around how you communicate with people, this also is a compatibility thing. And whilst it's hurtful to be blocked, you could see that if someone isn't on board with your sense of humor, then perhaps they weren't right for you anyway. The second reason why someone may suddenly block you is they feel overwhelmed and bombarded. Now, looking again back through your messaging chain, was there a mismatch in terms of how many messages you were sending them and how much they reciprocated? If someone wakes up in the morning and they've suddenly got 12 messages that are unanswered, including some question marks or some commentary on the fact they haven't got back to you quickly enough, that is very easy to interpret as pressure. And sometimes people react to that pressure simply by disengaging completely and blocking. So in this case, blocking could be signaling to you that they felt overwhelmed, that they felt their energy was being drained, or simply that the pace that you were trying to move the conversation at was going too fast for them. Again, the best thing you can really aim to do here is look out for reciprocation. Were they matching and mirroring the pace of your messages? Were they messaging you as regularly as you were messaging them? Were they being as open, as warm, as intimate, as playful as you were? If the answer is no, is there a chance they simply felt overwhelmed, that you came on a little bit too strong, and that they've massively backed off? Now, my third reason, which is if you're looking at this chain of messages and you're going, Hayley, I haven't done any of these things. Now, if you're looking at your messages and you are left clueless as to why this person suddenly blocked you seemingly out of nowhere, this could simply indicate that there was an external factor going on in their lives that you didn't know about that's caused them to react to you in this way. Dare I say it, maybe you weren't the only person that they were seeing. Perhaps they hopped on a dating app in a moment of weakness when they had an argument with their partner. They connected with you, they liked you, but as soon as they reconciled with their partner, they felt really bad about messaging you again, didn't know how to deal with the situation, and so just cut you off. Sometimes a sudden blocking by someone isn't a reaction to you, it's just a reflection of what's going on in their lives. The fourth reason why someone may have blocked you out of the blue is they just simply did not have the courage to be real with you. Sometimes it's really hard to verbalize things like, I've enjoyed connecting so far, but I don't feel that level of romantic connection, or I just can't really see you as someone I'd like to date. Sometimes finding those words can feel difficult. Often in dating, people are kind of people pleasers. They want to be liked. They don't want to hurt people. And so perhaps blocking you is a misguided attempt at sparing your feelings because someone simply doesn't want to articulate the hard truth that they're just not that into you. If you're in this position and you think this might be what happened, take heart that whilst they're avoiding conflict, you don't need to chase them up for an explanation. Remember, if someone isn't actively and willingly continually trying to build this relationship with you, then that is all the information that you need to make a decision about the future of this relationship. The fifth and probably most brutal reason why someone might block you out of the blue is simply that they got what they wanted and don't want to further continue extending the relationship. Now, this is harsh, this is nasty, this is lame human behavior. It's not accountable. It's not what we want to find our partners. Luckily, examples of this are rare. This certainly doesn't represent how most people go about their dating lives. However, if you've just had a really bad experience of this, as difficult as it is to feel this way right now, keep reminding yourself that this is not how most people interact with other people. This certainly is not going to always be the experience you'll have with people. And fundamentally, if someone is unaccountable about their feelings, if they don't genuinely want to build relationships with people, if they're that cold and calculating, then you have dodged a bullet anyway. So if you'd like to develop your self-esteem and get into a really high confidence mindset around dating, I would love to see you enroll in some of my free online training programs. There's one for men, one for women. The links are beneath this video. So if you've just been blocked right now, remember, you can move on from this, you can improve, and your dating life is going to look radically different very soon.